5 things I wish I knew before going to Iceland. This video is a bit more practical. A world changing so fast, I feel like people need more encouragement. That is the moment when Iceland Air released their super cheap flights. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is the series that I call Culture Shock. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself, super short. I was born and raised in Uzbekistan, and when I was 16 years old, I came to United States on a program called Flex, academic high school program where you get to stay in high school. I was in Texas for a full year, and then I went back home, got my degree in marketing, worked for a little bit, and then I applied for another program called Internship and came to the United States again. I was in California, and eventually I ended up staying. I lived in 4 different places: in Tashkent, Ukraine, Kiev, in California, and we recently also moved to Texas. I have a 5-year-old daughter who also traveled with us throughout the world, and I'm about to have my baby number 2, and hopefully we will continue traveling and exploring new places. Why all of a sudden I decided to start this channel is because due to the pandemic and world changing so fast, I feel like people need more encouragement to travel and learn about cultures. I know that traveling, exploring is gonna make the world a better place. And today, back to our subject, we're talking about Iceland. So, a little bit of a backstory. 3 years ago, my husband decided on his birthday to travel to Iceland. Normally, I prefer a much warmer place like beaches, or I like big cities. He's more of a wild nature kind of guy. So since it was his birthday, we wanted to go to Iceland. My daughter was 11 months old, I believe, maybe a little bit older, but basically that is the moment when Iceland Air released their super cheap flights from San Francisco all the way to Reykjavik, and for both of us it was about $700, and we didn't have to pay full price for my daughter, and it was a really good deal. Basically, we flew there for about 4 or 5 days only, and that was enough for us to see the most beautiful places. And I'm sure you guys, if you're planning to go to Iceland, you've already seen all the amazing landscapes, waterfall, rainbows, and all the different natural beauties that this country has to offer. This video is a bit more practical. When we arrived to Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland, and then we went by car to throughout our destination. By the way, if you want to know more about traveling with a kid, about the programs that I mentioned that I was on, or more about Iceland, please comment below and I will make a video about that. Also, don't forget to subscribe. There will be a lot of more interesting videos coming up soon. So, 5 things I wish I knew before going to Iceland. And if you know me a little bit, you know that I don't like cold at all. And I was prepared, since it's Iceland, that it's going to be cold. What I wasn't prepared for is a super strong wind. Now, let me just give you a bit of an example. When we landed to Iceland, it was at night, and we were super tired from the flight. Again, because it's a cheap airline, they don't provide like meals like normal, and the conditions aren't ideal, but it's budget friendly. And when we wanted to go outside to get on a bus to get us to car rental, there was actually a tunnel like made out of like a plastic or a glass, so that people are basically not blown away by wind. So this is how strong the wind is, and that's my first point. Make sure you understand that the winds in Iceland are super strong. Get your scarves, get your hats, and when we got into car rental, they told us be careful when you open car doors, because the car door can actually fly away. So this is a bit of a hint of how strong the wind is over there. We were very careful, and we would just like take turns to see certain things without my daughter getting out of the car, and we had a stroller. But still, it's a good note to make to self, and you know, be careful when you open the car doors, basically. All right, so let's get to number 2. It was a bit of a surprise. We were expecting the prices to be you know, kind of like the same level as where we lived back then in Northern California, but they ended up actually being even higher. So make sure you budget well. And once again, this was 3 years ago, so maybe the things have changed a little bit due to the pandemic. Maybe because they want to attract more tourists, they're a little more budget friendly. But just be prepared that if you want to visit a few fancy restaurants, and if you want to go out, if you want to go on some certain attractions, you might want to budget, you know, and look through the prices ahead of the time. Number 3 is, a lot of people think about Iceland and they imagine these beautiful views, you know, the shots taken from drone, the name of thing. They often forget about the capital, Reykjavik, which usually is just like a stopping point. What I found for myself is that I really liked Reykjavik. It is a very cute city, and it's worth spending a few hours there if you're into like a good food, nice restaurants, a beautiful design. In Iceland, everything is so inspiring in terms of design. You go to a place and the minimalistic style that they have is so thought through. Everything has its purpose, has its place, and it was just very inspirational for me since I like that kind of stuff. And when I went back home, I literally threw away so much stuff because I wanted to kind of reflect that energy of clean, nice design without much clutter. So if you're into that stuff, and if you, again, like there are plenty of very nice restaurants, again, budget well, make sure you stop in Reykjavik for at least 3 to 4 hours or a day. We were there for about a day total, and we got like 2 Airbnbs at the beginning of the trip and at the end before our flight, which we both really loved. They were very cute. So, transportation, how to travel throughout Iceland. Now, normally you can either get like a tour, or you can do like a bus tour or something like that, but I highly recommend you to get a car, rent a car. Maybe get in touch with someone else who's traveling to Iceland and get a car rental together. For us, it was the best option because first of all, we had a little kid and we could stop anywhere and see different attractions, but also because we were extremely jet lagged, and having a car allowed us to just stop and take little cat naps on the way and then continue our journey. Now remember, in Iceland, even though you have all of your points mapped out, you might want to do some random stops where there are not a lot of tourists, or you just see a cute house with like goats and animals and just want to take a picture, and that flexibility will come with car rental. What I was really kind of surprised when we went to car rental, and it took a while to get a car, there was actually a cute little kids corner that allowed my kid to play a little bit over there. And overall, anywhere you go, people are very friendly in terms of kids. So if you're thinking about going to Iceland with your kids, definitely it's a nice place to go. Just make sure that you're prepared for the weather. Last point that I wanted to make has to do with something I was hesitating a lot before deciding to go, and we wanted to see different places, and one of the places called Blue Lagoon was very popular tourist attraction, and there were like certain group of people that would say, oh no, it's overrated, don't go there, it's too crowded, blah blah blah. There were a second group of people who were saying that it's a must-do in Iceland. For us personally, it was a really good decision to do it. Back in the time, it was pricey for us. It was $100 per person for the cheapest package. I just checked recently, and right now it's $70 per person, which I think it's very good for a premium package where you get like a mask and you get to go into the hot springs of mineral waters made by volcanoes in Iceland. For us, it was a really good kind of jet lag remedy too. We were all feeling a little bit of dehydration, under the weather, like a little bit of congestion, but that really took all of that tiredness off our shoulders after the trip, and we really enjoyed that place. So if you're planning to go, definitely worth, especially if you just landed and just want to have some relaxing time before hitting the road. I advise going to Blue Lagoon, getting in those beautiful salty mineral hot springs, just relaxing and taking a moment to enjoy that volcanic energy. Also in this video, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what has changed during the pandemic. I will leave some of the links below that I found very useful if you're planning to travel to Iceland now. Basically, what I found out is that if you're vaccinated and if you don't need a visa to go to Iceland, by the way, make sure you check about the visa requirements from your country. For us, it was required, we did the visa, but it was before pandemic. Now, if you're vaccinated, you don't need to take additional tests at the airport. But if you're not, you might take additional steps and maybe test, right? So one of the points I wanted to mention is the time of the year when you go to Iceland. We went in April. The pros of us going there in April was that it was much cheaper. We got really good, cute Airbnbs and very touristy places for a nice price, and places were not that crowded. Most of the waterfalls were open and we could take beautiful pictures without a lot of people all over the place. But it was pretty cool. Travel in May, June, July, all the way until fall, I think. But it's going to be a bit more touristy. By the way, one of the tips I want to give to those who want to kind of travel and save a little bit on souvenirs and presents for their beloved. We went to a grocery shop and we found a lot of items that are super cute. They're not exactly like souvenirs, but they're a good present to give to someone. I bought this really nice volcanic salt that I still have, and I gave it to a lot of my colleagues and friends whom I wanted to treat with a little souvenir. I'm gonna show you right now. Success! I found it. So this is the salt that I bought. One of the things that I found was very fascinating about Iceland is that they're kind of like a small mafia. Everything is targeted at bringing the best to the country. All of the products are locally made. All of the Airbnbs were recommending places that are local and products, and they kind of all support each other, and that kind of teamwork and spirit of a country was super inspiring to me. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. It's kind of my first time in this format. Please comment below what topics would be interesting for you for my next videos, and continue traveling, exploring,